jazz. Alright, check this out. F to C. 4 to 1. You can also call this subdominant. To tonic. That means this feeling of something that comes before the dominant to the tonic to home bass. What is a dominant? Check this out. Right, 4, 5, 1 for example. So 4, 5, 1. This is subdominant, dominant, tonic. So sub before dominant, dominant, resolution. Now I'm gonna sub the I'm gonna sub the subdominant with different subdominant, dominant and resolution. So this is shell chords, very simple. D minor 7, G7 to C major 7. Check it out. We came from here. 3, 4, 5, dominant, 1, just with 7 chords. So if I were to play with shell, simple but really effective. I'm gonna add the open E. I'd like to ask everybody here to share their guitar and music routine. I'm really curious what you guys do, how you practice and how you think about it. Maybe we can have sort of a little discussion in the chat here. And it's cool because on the F, on the subdominant, that's the 7, that's the 13, that's the 3. Really nice. So now with D minor instead of the F, so that's a 2, 5, 1, and I can use this shape. 2, 5, 1, maybe 5, 2, subdom, secondary dominant. So 2, 5, 1, and this A7 leads us to the D minor. It's a classic thing in jazz, and in music actually, not just in jazz. Now what's important for me is to understand the feeling of these chords. I'm going to add a little bit of extension. So D minor 7, 9, G7, 13, C major 7 to A7, 13, flat 13. Now the flat 13 leads us better to minor, but sometimes, for example here, D minor 7, 9, G7, 13, flat 13, C major 7. It's kind of cool to create this false tension, or not false tension, even more tension, as if I'm going to minor, but I'm not, because I'm going Alright, what I just did, 2, 5, 1, but now I'm adding the 2 of the secondary dominant, so that's E half diminished. Now it's important to see this stuff because it helps us kind of be able to tweak and move around and create tension and release in soloing and in creation. We came from here, right? 4, subdominant. Right, and we're already creating so many chords, but it's not complicated if we understand the key. If this video brings any value to you, please click the like button. Let me know it. Alright, I'm gonna add this thing here. So so this is a Triton substitution. Alright, so instead of the G7, check this out. Simple, playing D flat major 7, D flat 7, 9. Again, I'll pause it for a second. I'm gonna loop this 2, 5. Just the bass. Up a little bit. Give more. And now, this is kind of the structure that we're starting to work with. I'm gonna add some more tension and colors. Check this out. C major 7. I'll play this again. So I'm playing at E half diminished, A7, leading to the D minor. Why am I doing that, right? So I'll just explain. I have basically these target points that I think of. I can think of the C as my kind of ultimate target, but between these points I can try and create tension, right? And I'm using the secondary dominant, the A7, as a point of reference that leads me to the D minor, and then later on leading me to the G7, right? And I can move between these sounds to create this flow of tension between point A and point B. And this is valid for improvisation, for solo, and for harmony. So even when you comp and play chord for someone, you can change harmony. Again, of course, depending on the situation, but this is something I do, and of course a lot of people do all the time. So again, let's listen. D minor, D flat, G7. Another really cool device is this. So D minor. What was that? So I played A flat minor 7 to D flat. So I used the 2 of the Triton substitution. It's a little hard, but it's really cool. And of course, when people are improvising on that, this A flat minor is basically that sound of alto that people improvise on. Check this out. Again. Simple but really effective. Did you notice I play 3 dominant chords there? Again, nothing too complicated. I'm not coming up with this stuff. I mean, I'm coming up with this stuff now, but it's just, it's in part of the language. So D minor, G7, A flat, C major 7, and then leading to the A. So there are a lot of these moments in music and in jazz that we can actually think about the bigger pictures, think about, again, where we started. Subdominant, tonic. And I think it's always really beautiful to see the bigger intention of the song, of the structure, what happens in the melody. Because sometimes there are a lot of chords that are beautiful, but are not as necessary, especially to hear bigger kind of transitions. Again, let's listen. 2/5. I'm going to record this. Here we go. So this is just simple 2/5-1. Now, what I want to try right now to do is to utilize some of these ideas in lines as well. Because of course, talking about chords is always great and beautiful, but it's really fun to try and see how it sounds with melodies. I'm just going to record the bass line again. Two. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to utilize the idea of the 2/5 itself, just articulating D minor G7 to C major 7. G7. Simple, right? I'm really articulating the chords, but it makes sense because I'm kind of saying what is happening, and changes in the sense of what is changing. And it took me a long time to understand that idea of like, we're actually expressing the story of the song, and each song has a different story. There are a lot of ways to tell it, but even by expressing D minor G7 to C major, I'm telling you where I am. It's sort of like coordinates, right? There are a lot of beautiful ways to express it, and this is, you know, the beautiful language of music, and specifically bebop is very articulate about those chromaticism. So again, so now I'm going to use the Triton substitution, and I'll articulate a lot of the triads so we can hear the sound. Two, for example. Right, so I'm really articulating that sound of the Triton sound. Could be harsh if I really express the Triton in full, but it's beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to use the Triton substitution, resolve, and then I'm going to articulate a little bit of the A7 a little more using an augmented triad. That was a little chromatic, but it's cool. I mean, you can, of course, be as chromatic as you want, and sometimes things can sound a little harsh, but you know, it just depends on the spicy level you want it to be. Again. That was pretty harsh with when I'm playing this D flat, this flat 5 over the A7. I mean, it's just a color. If you like it, you like it. I'm going to create a little bit more chromaticism. Check this out. So now I did a few things. The last thing I did was playing the D minor to a D flat major 7. Why? Because I was hearing the sound. There is no real other reason that I can be honest with, but I really heard this, like, instead of the dominant D flat 7, I heard this major 7. So instead of having the B natural or the more so the C flat, I had still the C. So it's this kind of sound. I was just hearing it in my mind and I was trying to express it. I think I'm gonna pause it for a second. So I think sometimes music and jazz sounds very complicated, and we are talking about a lot of information that is maybe not the easiest, but what I'm trying to show here is the idea that we can go from point A to point B in a lot of different ways. And yes, it takes time to explore and experiment, but the idea is that it's all very flexible. The truth is, again, going from this starting point of ours, this F to C, the subdominant to the tonic, and then starting to adjust things. And of course, it's a language, and I'm always learning, and this is a part of my you know, kind of passion to know music and to learn jazz as much as I can. So I always explore and listen and try to know more patterns and more things, or I would say more language, if you will. So I know some of these devices that are being used in this music, so it's a little bit easier, but I would say it's really up to you. And I think, you know, just trying to find ways to get from point A to point B, even writing it on a piece of paper, trying to play it, trying to sing it, and then by doing that you'll hear it more and more, and you'll start seeing the options on the instrument, and it will lead you to beautiful places. There's no way you will not find things, and of course the moment you start looking for it, you'll start hearing it and finding it. So I just would like to indulge everybody to go play some guitar, explore. Again, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot, and I hope this video was helpful anyway. I'll see you very shortly, very soon. Thank you. Bye.